I'm Matt Smith and I'm delighted to welcome you in to the first edition of a new feature here on our Oakland A's UK YouTube channel. I like to call it The Other Lot, and by that I mean this is going to be a regular feature here on YouTube for the 2020 season, whereby I take a look at some of the main news stories from the teams not called the Oakland A's. Yes, other teams are available. Not as good, of course, but worth having a look at, not least because sometimes their news affects the A's. Christian Yelich and the Milwaukee Brewers brought some hope to many a so-called small market fan base this past week by agreeing to a new 9-year, $215 million contract. It's a 7-year extension on top of the deal he already had and could tie him to the Brew Crew until he is 37 years old. It's fair to say if he'd have gone to free agency he would have got more money, but by all accounts it was Yelich who kicked off the talks in coming to a new deal with the Brewers. As reported on MLB.com, he said, "It's a large sum of money and people are always going to ask the what ifs, did you leave money on the table or not? But I play the game to win and to be a part of a place that I feel comfortable and I take pride in representing. For me, this is that place." That's how I made this decision. It wasn't one that I took lightly. I spent a lot of time talking about it with my family and my representatives. At the end of the day, we felt that this was right. There are two parts to the story, really. One of them is for the Brewers' ownership, and credit to them for getting this deal done. But the bigger part of the story is Yelich himself. You know, he said before he loves being in Milwaukee, but it comes down to whether you really want to stay there and are prepared to take a bit less money to do so. And when you look at this deal, you can easily look ahead to other players in smaller market teams to see how it might impact on them. The main one who's really been talked about a lot at the moment is Francisco Lindor. He's got 2 years left on his deal with Cleveland, and really a lot of people are looking at it as if to say, well, he's not going to be here for much longer, just enjoy him while you can. Indeed, the Indians owner has even gone as far as to say that, enjoy him while he's here. Now, you can look at it two different ways. There's really no right or wrong answer. For someone like Francisco Lindor, he made a decision to sign with the Cleveland Indians years ago as a free agent. But he could have been traded at any point as a prospect. And if he'd have been traded to, I don't know, the Dodgers or the Yankees, he wouldn't be here now thinking, if I'm going to sign a long-term contract extension, I'm going to have to take a hometown discount. Because if he'd have been with the Dodgers or the Yankees or another big-pocketed team, he wouldn't have needed to do so. And again, it's not that his choice that he's happened to be with Cleveland all the way through his career. He could have been dealt with no say on his part at any point. So it's entirely fair for him to say, you know what, if I was with another team, I could get, I don't know, $100 million more, why not do that? And that's fair. But if he really wants to stay in Cleveland, then it may be possible for it to happen. It would need him to be prepared to take a lot less money, more than likely, than he could get on the open market. But the one thing you'd say about that is, like in the Yelich situation, he's still going to get more money than he's probably ever going to be able to spend. And again, it doesn't mean he shouldn't go and get top dollar if he can, because he's certainly worth it. Someone like Lindor is, Yelich would have been. But it's up to owners to be able to put their best foot forward and to put forward a deal that is worth a player looking at. You know, if you're going to offer, I don't know, 150 million, 175 million, yes, that's a lot of money to us, but it's not a big amount of money for the real high-quality players. But if you're prepared to put down a deal worth, I don't know, $215 million, $230 million, something like that, maybe not going all the way to the $330 million that Bryce Harper got, $325 million that Gerrit Cole got, but certainly every team, however much owners like to plead poverty and call themselves small market, every team has the potential to sign at least one contract that's a big long-term contract that is worth overall, you know, $230 million or so. And for them to say they can't, well, that's not true. Whether $230 million would be enough for someone like Lindor is up to him. But the team should be prepared to offer that sort of thing, and I can say the same with the A's for someone like Matt Chapman. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out for other players, but for Christian Yelich, he's locked down with the Brewers for years to come, and Brew Crew fans, you'll be delighted. He's an MVP player and he's going to be a cornerstone player for your franchise for years to come, and that's great news for the Brewers and frankly great news for Major League Baseball. Talking about deals, the Chicago White Sox have signed Yoan Moncada to a 5-year $70 million contract extension. It's the latest deal the team has done to try and lock down a talented core of young players who they hope will bring success back to the south side of Chicago. Lefty reliever Aaron Bummer signed a 5-year $60 million contract extension a couple of weeks ago, and earlier in the offseason they signed their top prospect Luis Robert to a 6-year $50 million contract extension, which means there'll be no surface time shenanigans with him, and he will start the season on the opening day roster. With Eli Jimenez and Tim Anderson signed to multi-year contract extensions too, some exciting young pitching prospects in Michael Kopech and Lucas Giolito, and some veteran additions as free agents over this off-season, including Yasmani Grandal and Dallas Keuchel. This is a team on the rise. They finished last season on a 72-89 win-loss record, third in the American League Central and 28.5 games behind the Minnesota Twins. So they've got a long way to go, but don't be surprised if this team prove to be fast climbers. As for our beloved American League West, the Texas Rangers are counting down the days for the opening of their brand new ballpark. Whatever it's called. Globe Life Park or Globe Life Field? I can't remember. Whichever one it wasn't, it is now. A bit like that Arctic Monkeys album title. Anyways, the main thing with this new ballpark is that it has a retractable roof. I've never been to Texas to watch a ball game, but I've seen plenty on TV, and when you get to July, August, September, it is stifling hot, particularly during the middle of the day, and having that retractable roof will make it much more comfortable both for the players and for the fans. So that's a good thing. Other than that, why on earth have they made a new ballpark? It seems bizarre to me. And when you look at the plans, you look at the photos, it all looks a bit uninspiring, to be honest. I mean, much as we would love a new ballpark as A's fans, it's kind of a bit of a nothing ballpark. Nice, I'm sure, lots of bars and seats and everything like that, but yeah, could have done a much better job. And the fun thing is, they've launched a new thing on their website where you can look at it's like a 3D seat planner thing, so you can pick your seat and then look 360 degrees to see what the view is like. There are some truly horrific views on offer for you. You can seat yourself directly behind a foul pole and see absolutely nothing other than the foul pole in a brand new multi-million dollar stadium. What are these architects like? And elsewhere in the AL West, an Angels pitcher is injured. Who would have thought it? That never happens. But it's happened again, I'm afraid. Griffin Canning has gone down with an injury. They've looked at his elbow. There were concerns, would he need Tommy John surgery? Well, he doesn't. What he's had is, and I quote, biological injections. He's had biological injections into his elbow. So that sounds good then, doesn't it? Tommy John, here we come at some point, I suspect. And finally, if we're talking injuries, then we have to talk about those New York Yankees. You know, here in the UK, we've just had the relaunch of the daytime TV classic Ready Steady Cook. And in baseball, we have another version, don't we? We have Ready Steady Crocked. And that applies to the New York Yankees here, there and everywhere. Last season, it felt like the baseball gods were all on our side, trying to have a go at the evil empire. And although most of their players seem to be made of wet tissue paper, the Yankees club as a whole proved to be very resilient, going all the way to the American League Championship Series despite losing plenty of players. However, the baseball gods this year are going to have another go, and good on them for it too. The latest player to book themselves in for bed and breakfast at the Can't Play, Won't Play motel is Aaron Judge. The big man has got a fractured rib, and so far he's been told to rest for the next couple of weeks, and I'll see how he goes. But manager Aaron Boone has confirmed that he can't rule out surgery at this point and a potential longer layoff. More worrying is the fact that Judge believes this injury to date back to September 18th, an attempted outfield diving catch against the Angels. He was examined at the time and the Yankees medical staff couldn't find too much wrong with him, but needless to say, this does not reflect well on them, and that's not the first occasion that's happened. There are more questions coming at them, and frankly, the Yankees medical staff are far too busy to be answering any questions. Starting pitcher Luis Severino has just undergone Tommy John surgery, so he's done for the next year and a half. Fellow pitcher James Paxton is out until June or so due to back surgery. And of course, Aaron Hicks, the outfielder, has already undergone Tommy John surgery back at the end of October, I think it was. So he's going to be out until the middle of the season at best. Giancarlo Stanton has also been hobbled by a right calf injury, but Giancarlo Stanton being injured is hardly news. The one thing Yankees fans can hold on to is that all of these injuries are making fans in Boston even more angry about their team deciding to trade away Mookie Betts over the offseason to the Dodgers. Hey, every cloud and all of that. Those are the main stories that have caught my eye this week. Thanks a lot for watching. This is going to be a regular feature every Sunday during the season, so do subscribe to the A's UK channel, even if you're not an A's fan, much as you should be. Sometimes we'll be doing this as a live stream on a Sunday morning whilst I eat my breakfast. So if we're doing that, if you're subscribed, you'll get a notification and you can join in on their channel. We're also available across the social media platforms at Oakland A's UK on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. And we have a podcast, the Oakland A's UK podcast, that comes out every Monday morning. And that's available on Apple, on TuneIn, on Spotify, all the usual podcasts. I'm Matt Smith, thanks a lot for watching and join in again next Sunday as we have a look at the other lot.